Okay, how are you lads? I thought I would send you this video in advance of me sending our masterpiece. I hope it's a masterpiece. Anyway, it's an attempt. Before I send it to you, I just wanted to explain to you, what I did, and just so that you're aware of the work that went into it, and the obstacles I came across, and some of the solutions I found, and just so that when you watch it, you're able to appreciate our efforts a little bit more. Okay, so it's brilliant that we did it. It's really fantastic. I absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. We started working on this, I think it was on the 22nd of October, and it's now, today is the 16th of December. So we put a fair bit of time into it. At least I did here in the evenings. I had the kids here at times, and it was impossible to work, but I did most of my working on it sort of late in the evening, or at times in the morning when they're at school and Almaz is out at work and I'm free at home. So that's it. So listen, I just wanted to, first of all, just to mention about George's video, which I watched this morning after him sending his Merry Christmas greeting video from Australia. I'm sure you've all seen it by now. Excellent quality video. I could see that the recording and the video all sort of were, it looks like it was a pretty professional job done on it. With our video, of course, we're limited by the fact that virtually everything is recorded using mobile phones. So we're dependent on there's no studios involved, no recording studio, no video studios. So we're dependent on what the microphone and the phone, the quality of that signal, and also, of course, the video quality from the phone as well, because the lighting, the location, all that sort of thing will affect it. So I had to work with what you guys gave me. That was fine. But, you can only do so much with a phone microphone sound when you're trying to process it. But I think under the circumstances, with those limitations, I think that the whole lot has turned out pretty well. But that you will be the judges when you watch it. When I did our first video, which was really just a sort of an experiment, a test to see if it could be done, I was using the old Windows 7 Movie Maker software, which is no longer supported by Windows, and so there's no updates or anything like that. And it's a very cumbersome, awkward software to use. And when I saw the amount of stuff that we were going to have to deal with between audio and video, I thought, oh my God, this is going to take forever to do it with Movie Maker. So I said, feck it, I'm not going to use the bloody Movie Maker. I'll just bin that now. It's outdated, old-fashioned. And I downloaded the latest sort of stuff that's recommended by, I checked out with a few musicians and people around, and I downloaded a software called Reaper, which is really excellent. It's user-friendly and it suited me perfectly for doing all the audio editing and processing. And for the video, I decided I would use a software called Filmora, which is also the latest and greatest. And it's not a professional software, but it's sort of probably the best at the amateur level, and it's the latest version. So I use that to process the video side, mixing in the audio into the video and editing and doing the whole shebang. And it's been a great learning experience for me, working out how to use all of these and finding out some of the tricks. But I'm only at the beginning. There's a hell of a lot more I can learn, and it's my hope that we'll go on and record more, and I'll be able to learn more and more as we go along and make each video that we produce better and better. That's my hope, and I hope all you guys will be on board for that. Right. Okay, when you sent me your stuff, you know, obviously each take had a few mistakes here or there in it. Like things like, for instance, Martin sent me various rhythm tracks, be it ukulele, acoustic guitar, Telecaster, or the Strat. And on their own, each one of them sounded more or less fine. But when you put two or three of them together, often the rhythm that you were strumming, Martin, at certain points there would be a conflict in what you're doing on one guitar compared to what you're doing on the other guitar. So I had to bin the idea of using the ukulele because there was too many clashes with that. But I was able to keep the acoustic guitar, which really filled in the sound very nicely all the way through the track. And then I used a combination of the Strat and the Tele at different points throughout the track as well, to enhance the sound where I felt what you were doing was what was needed. Also there were a few bum notes here and there, including me, for instance. I found when I listened to the bass track that there was a few points where I really wasn't happy. I felt I was overplaying on one or two occasions. Just too many notes where I felt, less would be better. So I surgically removed from the edit a few notes here and there. Not many, but just a few. I really wanted to concentrate on having a solid groove in the bass with the drums. So that's what I focused on. There were a few places where I had to delete, like there was one note in George's solo, or not his solo, but was it? No, not his solo. In one of the little licks he was doing, but he hit a bum note. But I was able to delete that and you wouldn't even notice. I just cut it out and the next note was played and it sounds like that was what he was intending to play anyway, so it's fine. I have a few notes here which I need to read off because there's so many things I wanted to say. Yeah, okay, let's just move on to how I balanced it. Once I got all your tracks downloaded and into Reaper, then what I did was what is called a raw balance. I just mixed everything as the way I think it should roughly be, without any processing or anything like that. Okay, now the yardstick and the starting point I used was Roy's vocals, because I wanted Roy to be featured most strongly throughout the track. So I set his level, what I believe to be correct, where there was no distortion, his signal was not going into the red, it was going a little bit into the orange but not into the red. So that was my starting off point. Then, next thing I worked on was balancing the bass and drums around Roy so that he's still prominent, but you can clearly hear the bass and drums. And I spent a lot of time working on the drums and the bass, and I'm really proud of the balance that I managed to get with a lot of fiddling around here and there. I fiddled around with the drums, but it was so good that you, Bren, gave me separate tracks for the cymbals, for the drums, for the bass drum. It just made life so much easier for me. And now when you listen to it, you can hear each drum. You have the bass, you can hear the drums, you can hear the cymbals, all clearly at any point throughout the song. And I got a beautiful balance between my bass volume and the bass drum. I actually set the bass drum and the bass guitar at the same level. So when they're both played together, you can feel the thump. And that's all the way through the song. But of course, with everything else going on, you wouldn't so much notice in lots of parts, but it adds to the drive, which I was really, I felt that was really important. Once I had the bass and drums set at the right level to the vocals, then everything else could be fitted in and around that without any problem. So then I balanced Paul's piano, and Paul did a few really nice little riffs, for want of a better word, on the piano that suited some parts of the song. And what I did was I kept the piano just at a nice level throughout the song, but you don't really hear it, but it's filling the sound out. But at those points where Paul did his little thing, I actually surgically raised the volume on the piano slightly so that you can hear those bits. And when you watch the video, you'll know the bits I mean, because it's pretty obvious. As regards the guitar, then I balanced in the rhythm guitar and set that more or less in balance with the piano. So you got the piano and the rhythm guitar in the background all the way through, just giving us that basic backing track. Okay, along with the bass and drums. All of those balanced nicely together. Then I was able to fiddle around with Martin on the Telecaster. And I featured those bits in the chorus. Really, the Telecaster is only used in the chorus, where we go into the send me dead flowers in the morning, that second part of the chorus, where he goes, you know, the Stones, he sort of swang on the guitar. So you can hear that clearly on the Telecaster. On the first part of the chorus, I featured Martin just playing on the Strat, where he does the rock and roll, that bit. So, first part of the chorus is Strat, then I cut the Strat out, and then the second half of the chorus is the Telly doing the other bit. And the two really, I think it sounds good anyway. So that was the guitars. Now for George, I used George's intro, which was, well, first of all, I did a little bit of processing on George's sound, and I put EQ, I put a bit of compression and a little bit of delay on the guitar just to give it that sort of nice, sort of just fuller sound. By the way, I forgot to mention, I did all that sort of thing on the other guitars and the vocals. I did a little bit of EQ, compression, not so much compression on the vocal, there was not just a teensy bit, not too much. In fact, now when I think of it, I did very little compression on the guitars. It was more EQ and a little bit of delay to give it a slightly echoey sound. I didn't want too much compression because that would have dull the peaks. I wanted the drive in it, so I left that out. But I just want to keep track of what I'm trying to tell you here. Yeah, George, on his solo, and also the licks that he does throughout the song, I just made sure that they could be heard. So I raised the volume on those parts as I felt appropriate, and also during the lead solo. And for the second half of the lead solo, I copied what he's playing and put it again on another track, and I moved that track just a D hair, slightly out of sync with the first track, so it gives it that rich sound. This is just something I fiddled around and discovered myself. I don't know if they do it in studios for real, but I think it sounds okay. Anyway, you'll hear it when it's played. Okay, so yeah, then moving on to, I mentioned it already, that the process, I used some plugins, I did a bit of EQ, compression and delay. I particularly used the EQ compression on the bass and the drums, mostly, because that gave them a punchier sound, and I was able to adjust the drums, for instance, so from the bass drum I could get a nice thump with the click at the end of it, so you get the and you sort of, well, I think you feel it. With headphones on, I can hear it. Listen out for it. It's not too loud now, but it's there, and that's what I love. And also on the bass. Now, I need to backtrack a bit. One thing you must remember is that with all the signals from the drums and the vocals and the guitars, I was dealing with phone, microphone signals. But in the case of the bass, I used a little gadget. This wonderful gadget, okay? This is my audio interface. Basically, I plug my bass into this and then this into the computer, and I recorded my signal directly. So I'm dealing with a clean signal when I'm doing the processing, not a microphone signal. So makes it a little bit easier. So I think I got quite a nice bass sound, but I wasn't focusing on featuring bass. I was focusing on putting the bass with the bass drum all the way through. and I kept the bass drum, rhythm and bass with the same groove from beginning to end. And that is boom, 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 boom. And that is going all the way through. And then all the fills on the drums go around that, and any fills on the bass go around that as well. But you always have that boom, 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 boom. So that hook is there all the time. And I think that really is one of the strong points that has come out of this mix. I don't mind saying that. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, let's see. What else did I do? The vocals. Oh yeah, this was a very interesting bit. Roy, again, I did a bit of processing with Roy's voice just to give it a little bit of edge. I put a delay on it to give it a sort of a small room delay to give that slightly echoey sound to his voice. Now, when it came to the chorus, there's actually 6 tracks of vocals on. I put 2 tracks of Roy, just to fill out the sound a bit, and I put 2 tracks of Martin, who's in the whole chorus, and 2 tracks of me in the second half of the chorus. And both Martin, each of his tracks are singing different lines, different notes. And when I do my vocal bit in the second half of the chorus, I'm singing 2 different lines in harmony as well. So we have Roy singing in unison, plus 4-piece harmonies behind that from Martin and myself. But I balanced them down and I fitted them, synced them exactly with Roy's voice. And I just reduced the volume on Martin and myself just so that you can just hear, or more, feel it. And so you won't really hear my voice. Well, you have to strain your ear to hear it, but it definitely makes a difference. And I can't even sing, but there you go. Well, I can try. I made an effort. It's probably the best singing I ever did. Right, okay. Then at the end, you know, I did a little break at the end where I cut everything we were playing, and Roy gets a little break of a few vocal words on his own, and then the drums bring us back in again to the end. And I set the whole recording to be started by Bren. So I've played around with the tracks a little bit just to make what I think turns out to be a good song and a good video. So yeah, so that was the recording side of it. As regards the video, well, I used this new software that I mentioned, Filmora, and the great thing about Filmora is that the way you use it is very similar to the way you use Reaper. So the techniques I learned with the audio recording were beneficial for me when it came to editing the video side of things. I won't go on really about the video side of it, just to say that I really enjoyed it. Just cutting and pasting, shifting things around, adjusting colour, adding titles, that sort of thing. Syncing things as best I can, bearing in mind that the video now, we're using mime videos. So the vocals and the mime are not always perfectly in sync, but I did the best I could with what you gave me. So in a few points you'll see it looks slightly out, but it's not bad. I think it's acceptable, at least for us. And I think for anybody else who watches it. Now, yeah, I think they're the main points I wanted to make. All I would say is it's just been great. Really enjoyed. I think we have a great track there. It's really in our comfort zone, that song. And I think the vibe that comes across from it is that we enjoy doing it. And it certainly sounds like it and it looks like it when you watch it. So I think I will just hang up now. I'm going to let you just listen to what I've had to say. And I will send the video out to you all. I'm going to upload it onto YouTube. And I want to make this as available to you in time for Christmas so you can have a look at it and show it to whoever you want in the families and friends, whatever. I was thinking if I sent it out to you about the 23rd of this month, that's in 1 week from now, this day next week, that'll give you a few days just to look at it and have it ready for Christmas Day. I'm going to be showing it here to the wife and kids and whoever's here on Christmas Day as well, but I won't show it to them before then. In fact, I haven't shown them anything. I've kept it a secret. They've seen me working on it, but I kept the sound in the headphones all the time. So there you go, lads. So I hope you enjoy it. And let's do lots more. Okay, I don't mind doing it. Oh yeah, one last thing. One big advantage is that we didn't have a studio. All we had was as much time as we wanted, as I wanted. So no limitations. I could fiddle around and adjust, and if I wasn't happy with this, I changed, and there was no time limit. So I wasn't under pressure. So great, we can do it again anytime. So look, I'll sign off, lads, and well, happy Christmas, of course, to all of you. And George, tell all your band out there in Sydney, I liked the video this morning, and I wish I had a suit like that. And as Martin says, yeah, let's get one for Bren. Okay, get the tailor to give us the measurements or the colours or the material, whatever out there. Get one made for Bren. Okay, I'll let you go, lads. So see you, enjoy, and let me know what you think. Bye.